Hey, how's it going? So we're going to get straight into this day 2 or whatever this vlog is. Today's content or today's topic is pretty much the direct trauma that occurred to me when I was working as a social worker and how that impacted. No script, real talk, and let's just see how we go. Just before I get into it, I want to say thank you because some people really reached out and were really cool. I really didn't know what to expect by just jumping on and sharing my story. Yesterday's one was coincidental. There was nothing about it that, today's a new topic. So yeah, I think it's been really humbling and really cool, and I really appreciate people that have given some really cool feedback. So I was a social worker. We covered that. So I was a social worker. We covered that yesterday. And I left social work due to a direct trauma. And that trauma, so I worked for 10 years in social services, various roles, some really cool roles, and I've done some really cool work with some really cool communities, vulnerable people, really cool stuff. And I left and stepped away from social works as a result of being sexually assaulted by another professional. I was one of three, I haven't double checked that, I think it's three, women who came forward about this person's behaviour, and as a result, a court case came out of it. So as a result, there was an internal workplace investigation, and then there was a police investigation, and all of a sudden, and I tried to keep working through it at first, and then there's all these fucking people that are, you got two camps, they're pro or they're like whatever, so you had this camp that was like, they're just fucking making it up. And one of the other victims or survivors, to this day, I know for a fact, if we fucking joined her in on this video, would say the same shit. So you get two camps. So you got the workplace investigation, you got the police investigation, you got people who know and are your fucking 100s and got your back, and then you got the fucking people who just want to make your life hard. So all this is happening, and I'm trying to work through it. I'm working through it. And it's not easy, man, when you're working with vulnerable people. But however, and at first I was doing okay. Life just sort of, I won't say went on as normal. I tried to adapt to this trauma, which happened in my workplace, as best as I could. And for me at the time, that meant I'll leave. I'll find a new job. Classic avoidance. And so I did that. I left that job, and where did I go from there? So I left where it happened, thinking I'll go somewhere else and I'll be safe and I'll be okay. So I did that, and that was okay initially, and that worked out. I wasn't dealing with the problem. It was moving myself away to keep myself safe. And I realised that now. And then, so that went okay for a while. But then another trauma happened about 12 months. 12 to 18 months after that. And that it all sort of imploded in a way. And that's when shit got murky. So then I was still working, and then I left that job, and I again wanted to keep myself safe. I just got another job, but I went back in a different role to the same place where, so a different role in a different, I suppose you'd call it department, to where this offending happened and the original trauma. And in my head, I was in this survival mode, and I was saying, I got this, I got this, I got this. I've studied hard for 3 years, and wanted to be a social worker since I was 6 years old. Like, I clearly remember being 6 years old and announcing that I'm going to be a social worker. Like, it was just a thing. I knew I was always going to be. And so I went to this role back, but in my head, I was safe. And I was carrying the trauma of the sexual assault, and then this other trauma that had happened in between. And I went to work, and I think I was there maybe 15 months, and then these PTSD symptoms were really kicking in. I was avoiding shit, that ringing in sick, hypervigilance in the office, not wanting to leave the office when I got there. There was just things happening that my PTSD was becoming really like, hey, and I don't even know if you want to call it PTSD. I guess what we could really look back and call it is trauma wanting to be addressed. And that's how I would like to look at it now. When I look back, I could choose to go and be a social worker now. I've studied, and I've got some other stuff going on, and I've got 2 careers I can sort of choose from, and that's as a result of going on this healing journey from that trauma that happened to me. So that's what happened. And that's part of my journey. No one could ever anticipate something like that happening. The person was found guilty. He served some time that was given to him, or whatever. He got a sentence and left the country, I believe, but I don't care. Not my circus, not my monkey. I'm my circus, I'm my monkey. And yeah, that's pretty much the guts of how the direct trauma that happened in social work, and how it progressed and ended up being here, and here I am. Haven't really thought about tomorrow's topic. We'll get there, but yeah, thanks for tuning in.